Hey guys, my name's Jason with S&J Forest Products, and a lot of you guys have been watching me sawmill up a bunch of my cedar from down on my 50 acres in Skagit County. And today I wanted to show you how I take my stuff rough off the sawmill and cut it down into nice dimensional lumber, and we'll get it stickered up all back here along the wall. But right now I've had it stickered up. It's kind of a mess because I've been picking through it, but I've got it stickered up here. It's all pretty dry. Now we're going to cut it down into 4, 6, 8 foot sections. And I've got a combination of 3-inch, 4-inch, 6-inch, and some 8-inch wide material here. I've got my little saw and jig set up here. So this is 0 inches. And then I've got different lines set up. This is 48 inches or 4 feet, 6 feet, and then I've got a stop back here at 8 feet. And so I can just throw my boards up there real quick and get them zipped down to the right size. What I'm working with over here is a bunch of different stuff that has some gnarled up ends. Some of it has defects in the board, like that. So I got to get all that cut out of there, because when you go and you say, oh yeah, I got an 8-foot board, and then the back 2 feet of it looks like that, no one's going to want to buy that. Right, well, I've got my 6-inch wide boards, 4 foot long, 6 foot long, and 8 foot long. And my 4-inch wide boards, 4 foot long, 6 foot long, and 8 foot long. So I'll get all these stacked up. I'm gonna try a little bit different system along the wall here, which I'll show you when I get them stacked up. But that'll free up a bunch of my floor space, so I don't have all this floor space all stickered up with wood. And here we are all cleaned up. I got my whole pile of junk out here all cleaned up, and stickers are all gone. I've got my wood all stacked nice. These are a couple 1x5s, 1x6s, 1x4s, 1x3s, all 6 foot. Here I've got 1x3s, 1x4s, and 1x6s, all 4 foot. Big pile of stickers there. Some spruce boards that I got to get cleaned up and organized a little bit. And I've got my pile of 1x3s, 1x4s, 1x6s, 8 footers. And here's a little look from the side. I got them, I don't know if you can see, but I've got the first one up against the wall with a little air gap. Then I got the next one that comes up and touches at the top, but it's got an air gap going down the bottom. You can kind of see sideways. So you still get some airflow through, the moisture can get out of them, but you're not taking up all that space in the floor. And then you can come up and you can just real easy count the rows and count how many you have deep, and you know how many boards you have. Customers can pick through them, look and see what they got. So if you have a better idea or an idea of how I could do this different for better space saving and organization, but to keep the wood dry, and if I bring it in wet, it still has to dry, let me know, leave me a comment. Well, I've been thinking more about this wood storage problem and this kind of vertical stickering I want to do. And I want to try something a little bit different. I've got a spot in my shop where the studs are exposed here. And what I'm going to do is put some arms coming out, put the stickers between the arms, and then lay the boards up between the arms. Let me get it set up, and that I think it'll make more sense. But let me get some of these wood arms screwed on here, and then we'll see if this new idea of mine works. I've never seen anybody sticker wood vertically before. It's always laying down flat like that. You know, those are a bunch of 2x6s I've got stickered. So we're gonna try something a little bit different and see if we can revolutionize the industry or, you know, find something that doesn't work here. But I brought all my wood home with me, and my poor little truck squatting so bad on the road, the mud flaps were dragging every time I went over a little bump. But this is all the wood I got to get stickered up, and I don't have much room. So that's the whole point here, is I'm trying to figure out how to sticker up wood without taking up my whole garage space. All right, well, this is pretty cool. I think it's going to work. So let me walk you through. I just got one up just to show you. I've used the cutoffs that I was cutting off the end of my boards as arms coming out. And then I've put a sticker across the arms, both top and bottom. And the one on the bottom is a little bit wider, so it kicks the bottom of the boards out a little bit. And then I've put a row of boards up against those first stickers. And then I've got another sticker here that I've just shoved up against the first row of boards. It rests on the arms, both top and bottom. And then I'm just gonna stack my rows out and just repeat the process, and I can stack probably 8 or 10 rows deep. I've got the board sitting on stickers on the floor, and my theory is that the air is going to come down, take the moisture heavy air is going to flow down and out the bottom, and so you'll have this constant flow from top to bottom, so you don't need a whole heck of a lot of room between the boards. And as opposed to over here where they're sitting on the ground, they just sit in their moisture air puddle there, and it just takes a whole lot longer for them to dry out. But I'm pretty excited about this. This is cool, because normally I would have the whole floor stickered up and everything. I'm gonna need to use these racks. One of my problems is my ceiling here is only 7 feet high, so I can't stick 8-footers and use the same system. So I'm gonna use these racks here. But I'm gonna cover this whole wall in this style sticker rack here. And I got my 1x3s, 1x4s, and 1x6s. And I've got 4-foot and 6-foot length that I can put in these racks. We got a rack set up. Now let's get some wood in here and see what it looks like. All right, well, here is the finished product. I've got my short 1xs here against the wall. I got my 4xs and my 2x back there stickered up. And then I've got all my 8-foot 1x, 3s on top, 4s in the middle, 6s down below there. I ran out of room, so I had to start coming out here. And then I've got a bunch of 8s, 8-inch by 8-foot. So I think it worked out pretty darn good. Here's a couple things I learned about these racks. So the first thing is I don't think you need the bottom arms at all. And if you don't have the bottom arms, you don't need the bottom stickers. And here's why. I'll show you over here on the 6 inches, a little bit easier. Up here on the top, when you get them stickered on the top, they don't need to touch on the bottom. And the sticker doesn't do anything. I actually just pulled these out once I had them in. And then I found out that if I can sticker them up on the top and I just put my finger here and push the board up to my finger, and then it stays there. So I don't think you need bottom arms or fingers, or bottom arms or stickers at all. You just put your arms up here about 1 or 2 feet below your boards, sticker the top half, space out the bottom half, and you're fine. So another thing I would do is I would make my top arms longer. I think these are 18 inches. I'd probably make them, 24 or maybe even 30 inches if you had the space and you can make them stout enough. I mean, they really don't do anything. There's no pressure on them this way, and there's no force on the stickers up and down. So really it's just to support the sticker before it gets pressure on it by the board. So you can make them really long, and man, I wish I had a 8.5 foot ceiling, because then I could have had all my 8-foot stuff stacked up, stickered up the same way over here, and it would have turned out great. I really like this system. The proof's in the pudding, because we'll see when a customer comes and they want to pick through the pile and how easy it is to get it apart and back together. But now I've got it all organized. I can take inventory. I can count what I have. The customer can come if they want, 14, whatever. We can go grab 14, and we don't have to pick through the whole pile. They're all the same size and shape and organized. So, man, I think it just works out great. Well, there you have it. That's how I decided to try and sticker up my wood. And like I said earlier, I've never seen it stickered vertically like that. Let me know what you guys think. Is there something that I don't know that, somebody out there is going, oh, this isn't going to work? Or is this a great idea that, everybody should do now? I don't really know. But, the wood's all stacked. It's drying out. I think I've got probably somewhere between $2,500 and $3,000 worth of wood in here right now. So I need to get some ads up and get this stuff sold. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.